Chris Drury is a mastermind. Chris Drury is him. Oh my God, we just fleeced the St. Louis Blues. Ladies and gentlemen, the New York Rangers have traded for longtime Blues forward Vladimir Tarasenko. Feels pretty good, right? Now wait till you hear how he got him and defensive prospect Niko Mikkola. Getting better? The Rangers gave up Sammy Blais, a conditional 2023 first-rounder, a conditional 2024 fourth-rounder, and prospect Hunter Skinner. If that isn't making you happy somehow, wait until you realize how the Blues retained 50% of Tarasenko's contract. I'll get into the conditions in just a minute, but oh my goodness, what an absolute fleece by Drury. Everyone knew how the Drury era of deadline shenanigans began last year, and he did super well back in March by getting Tyler Mott, Andrew Kopp, Justin Braun, and Frank Vatrano without having to give up any current roster players or a first or a second round pick. This year, he gets a much bigger name and, of course, gives up our first-round pick, but who cares, honestly? We just upgraded our roster tremendously with this move. Let's go over Vladimir Tarasenko's career with the Blues in a nutshell as St. Louis loses another guy from their 2019 championship run. Tarasenko is 31 years old, 6'1", 228 pounds, and has been arguably one of the best Blues players of all time. Drafted 4th overall back in 2010, he didn't immediately make an impact on the team for his first few years, but in 2014, he just took off, and I remember being at Madison Square Garden watching that filthy goal he scored on Cam Talbot. Absolutely disgusting goal, but that's kind of what kickstarted his career. He would notch 73 that year, 74 the next year, and then 75 points in the 2016-17 season, the year he won the cover athlete for NHL 17. Then he kind of declined a bit, but still managed to get 66 points in 17-18 and then 68 points in 18-19, which was the year the Blues won the Cup. After St. Louis won, things went extremely downhill. The Blues started to disrespect Tarasenko in various ways. It kind of started with the way the team had managed his 3 shoulder surgeries. He was due for his 3rd surgery in 2020 after the bubble loss to Vancouver, and the Blues just didn't really care about him much, and so he requested a trade out of St. Louis, and that would have had a massive impact on the team's core had they traded him. I mean, Tarasenko has been here all these years. I think he is the longest tenure Blue up to this point, but he was really the heart of this team, and so it upset several Blues fans when he wanted out, but he said that he thought a fresh start would be the best course of action, as anyone would, right? But right after his 3rd surgery, Alex Pietrangelo, the captain of the Blues, departed to Vegas after signing a mega contract there, and that left a void for the captaincy, which many people expected Tarasenko to get, but nope. The Blues kept Tarasenko as an alternate captain and made Ryan O'Reilly, a guy who was only there for like 2 years, the captain of this team, and that just made Tarasenko even more frustrated. He would only have 10 points in 10 games in the 1920 season, and then 14 points in 24 games the following year. But then he kind of got through the pain and became a monster last year. He was fully healthy and notched 82 points in 75 games, getting back to that vintage age of the 2013 and 2014 days. These stats just pretty much prove how when he's healthy, he's an absolute threat to defenses. Now let's get into Niko Mikkola, who I'm really happy to have additionally. Most fans were expecting Ivan Barbashev to be part of the trade, but we just got a guy who is just as physical as Mikkola. Now before I say anything, Mikkola isn't really a creative defenseman. He's not like an Adam Fox or an Erik Karlsson kind of guy. He notched 13 points in 54 games last year, which of course isn't great, but he's going to be a guy who can bring sandpaper to the team. He's 26 years old, he's 6'5" and 198 pounds, and can certainly throw a hit. Personally, there's not really much to say about him as he hasn't made such a big impact yet, but he's a big-time hitter and he will certainly stand up for the guys, which is always good. For the Blues, though, this return can get very interesting. They got back Sammy Blais, who the Rangers originally acquired in the Pavel Buchnevich trade, which kind of remains a disaster, but now we can say that this is a Tarasenko for Buchnevich trade. Blais was acquired in the summer of 2021 and has not scored a single goal for the Rangers. I mean, it just did not work out. He has certainly struggled, and he got sent to Hartford for conditioning, where he became a goal-per-game player, but still couldn't find anything with New York, so they traded him back to St. Louis. I mean, that was just a failed experiment. But the Blues also got Hunter Skinner, who is currently in the ECHL, has 8 points in 22 games. I highly doubt he makes anything in St. Louis, but he's only 21, so he can maybe best become a 30 to 40 point player. He hasn't played in the NHL yet, but, there's always time. But then the Blues got 2 picks in the trade, where one of them is a conditional first-round pick. The Rangers gave them a 2023 first-round pick, which could be Dallas's first in the Niels Lundqvist trade, or New York's own first-round pick. If Dallas's pick ends up in the top 10, the pick will go to next year's draft and be the later of the 2 first-round picks. Yeah, that kind of sounds confusing, I know, but we really don't have to worry about it because this is clearly not happening as the Stars are currently first in the Western Conference. Therefore, it's more likely that we see the Rangers pick heading there instead. The 2024 4th-round pick becomes a 3rd-round pick if the Rangers make the playoffs, which is very likely to happen as they sit 3rd in the Metropolitan Division currently. Man, that is an incredible trade to process, is it not? I mean, you couldn't have asked for a better guy to get than Tarasenko, a guy who's cheaper than Kane by $3 million and then gets fully retained by St. Louis, meaning that his $7.5 million contract that was supposed to run to the end of this year is now going to be $3.25 million for the rest of the season. Add to the fact that he's putting up similar numbers to Kane as well. Then you realize how he's going to be playing his heart out here. He's in a much bigger market, he's in a bigger city, therefore he's going to get more attention, which was something he didn't really receive enough of in St. Louis in recent times after being disrespected on several occasions by management. Then also realize, this is the part I'm most excited for, how he's finally going to have his countryman sidekick with him in Artemi Panarin. If you're a Rangers fan like me, you better be fired up, man, because this could really be it. This is exactly what Drury did for us last year, and it took us to the conference final. I think Tarasenko and Panarin are going to be just fine. I can't wait to see what a dual threat Tarasenko and Panarin become. Both of them played in Russia together. They're so close. They're good friends. It could be just the best thing that can happen for us right now. I personally see Mikkola being in the lineup for the first game, which is going to be tomorrow against the Kraken, just so he can get a warm welcome to the team. Therefore, that makes Ben Harper a healthy scratch. And obviously, Tarasenko will be in the lineup and probably on the first line with Artemi Panarin and Mika Zibanejad. And I don't really know what Gallant wants to do on the power play, but we shall see what he makes out of it. Very, very good trade for the Rangers, but this could backfire if they are 1st or 2nd round exits and they can't sign Tarasenko, as he's going to be an unrestricted free agent at the end of this year. I call it a win if we at least reach or win the Stanley Cup final, because Tarasenko is a guy where if you just take him on a run and don't make much out of it and he walks the next year, it's going to be a bad loss, because Tarasenko took a lot to acquire. We gave away a 1st-round pick, a 4th-round pick, Sammy Blais, and a prospect to get this done. And to see that all go away, I know Sammy Blais wasn't a good fit. We could have traded him somewhere elsewhere, but to trade him away for nothing is not going to be that helpful, right? You at least want to get something out of it. But either way, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Did the Rangers win this trade? Did the Blues win it? How will Tarasenko be in New York? How will Sammy Blais be in St. Louis? That'll be interesting to see as well. Otherwise, thank you guys for tuning in and have a wonderful day.